What's up, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with Tesla SPY, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. We'll talk about some very important levels to watch for as we are approaching one of the last weeks of the year for trading. And also, what you're going to be watching for as time goes on. Just know that I am not your financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moomoo link. If you deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. Deposit $1,000, you're guaranteed 15 in total, not to mention 8.1% APY in uninvested cash. The offer ends very soon, in just about 8 days from now. Anyways, let's talk about what's happening with the market. So, looking at Tesla, I expect this to gap up pretty nicely, but we are approaching this resistance right here near the 435 area. Our 20 EMA is currently a little bit lower. It's currently at 436, and that's acting as resistance. So Tesla remains range bound right here. I do see this gap here during the pre-market to fill, so which makes me suspect we might see a small dip in the markets and also for Tesla. But then we'll be watching to see if we can try to get a bounce here at least afterwards to break resistance. So looking at the headlines, just to be very, very clear about this, I'm not really seeing anything too crazy. There have been some talks about how Trump's policies may end up changing the FSD revolution. I really believe that. I think that the deregulating is going to greatly benefit Tesla, at least to some extent. But for the shorter term, the EV tax cuts could be a little bit more negative for them. I think it's going to get offset by this, and then with the development of FSD, that's still going to be very bullish for Tesla nonetheless. And I really think that the entire auto industry is going to be revolutionized. So, it's very, very big news. I'm seeing a lot of headlines about that, at least coming out for now, especially as we approach the end of the year. Going into next year, that's when Trump is going to be inaugurated, and the effect he's going to have on Tesla is going to be big for its long term. So just keep that in mind, guys. That's why Elon Musk is also working alongside him. Besides that, as far as the market's continuing, I'm seeing some headlines that are saying that many investors are, hoping for what's known as the Sands rally, which is like a nice little pump towards the end of the year. It's a possibility. I do think the market's going to dip a little bit right now. We'll have to see if we could get a bounce to get there. So just keep that in mind. So that's going to be very key. The market's going to also see, a lot of things that are going on. I think there's going to be an early close for tomorrow, and then the market's also going to be shut down on Wednesday for Christmas. So we'll see. It's going to be a short week, so hopefully we do see a lot of buyers coming back. There's some talk that Nissan and Honda are going to be entering a merge talks. That's big news for them if they do work together. That could help them greatly, especially when it comes to developing EV technology. And then Congress passed the bill to stop the government shutdown, another spending bill, which is going to keep the government open until mid-March. So just keep that in mind, guys. That could have somewhat of an effect on the economy. And besides that, I'm not really seeing anything else that's too crazy. So just wanted to show you what the news is saying so far involving the markets. So two more things. Just know the market was known for being quite green on Friday. We'll have to see if we could get a continuation later on. I do think things will start off on a slow end for today, but then they could finish strong depending on how things go. And then we also have consumer confidence coming out and bill auctions at 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 30 minutes after market opens. So we'll just have to see how that goes. Besides that, let's talk about the charts. So as far as Tesla's going, there's this tough resistance near 435 to 436. Our main support is currently around 420 now. I think we might be dipping a little bit closer to the low 420s just for the time being. We have to watch if 420 and 415 hold us up. This might, excuse me, dip a little bit right over here, make an attempt to come back up, and we are range bound between 436 and 420 for now. And I think that's what Tesla's going to be doing, being range bound for the time being. If we lose 420 and 415, which are a little bit more bearish, and if we could dip and then bounce, we need to break 436 to break out for 450 plus. So keep that in mind. I think what's going to likely happen is we dip a little bit back down here to fill the gap into the low 420s. Then we'll have to see if we try to bounce off that or not. So it could be a dip coming. Hopefully we get a bounce near 420. So just be mindful of that. There might be a small dip upon open, and then we'll see what happens after that. For other factors out there, we have SPY. We have like a double top here off our 20 EMAs. It's kind of rejecting here. Look for a small pullback. We had a very, very big green day on Friday, so getting a small pullback would be completely normal. And we'll be watching to see if 588 holds. If not, we could be dipping closer towards, the 584 area. So there could be a small dip here. We'll have to see if SPY could bounce again. But look for a test of the 588. So we'll see if we bounce. To be bullish, you want to break past 595. If we break, then I will turn back, back to bullish. Look for a small dip upon open. We'll see if we get a bounce afterwards. That's going to be very important for the way we end up moving. So that's going to be key. We need to try to hold between 588 and 585. I think that range might be tested. And then we'll see if we get some kind of rebound to reclaim 595. For ES, the same thing is going on. There could be a small dip here. 5980 could be tested. We'll be watching to see if we get some kind of balance. I want to see it break past 6,000 at the very least. And eventually 6,055 to start filling this imbalance and turn a lot more bullish. So I'll be waiting to see how high it goes. Might be a small dip to start things off to about 5980. And we'll see what the reaction is from there. For Nvda, the same thing is going on. We are trying to break past our key EMAs, but now it's retesting 135. If that fails us, we're looking for 133. Hopefully, Nvidia could bounce off one of these levels. Look for a small dip to 135, if not 133. And then we'll see if we try to rebound off of that. So make sure you watch and see. If 133 fails, it's just going to be a risk of further downside. I think it might dip a little bit, then we'll see if we bounce or not. For Bitcoin, we're on a bit of a downtrend right here. We need to reclaim 96,000 to hit 98,700. If not, there's going to be a risk of us dipping towards 93,000 and maybe even this imbalance down here. Let's look for a dip to the 93,000. We'll see if we bounce. So give this the time it needs. For others out there, we have the QQQ. Same setup as SPY. Starting to dip a little bit. We need to try to hold 518. Otherwise, I'm looking for a test of like 515 right over here. We might be coming down a bit, and we'll have to see if we bounce. I want to see it break 523 to turn bullish. Look for a dip to 515. If we bounce, we could be trying to push back up to 525. For NQ, we're dipping here. We're looking for a test of 21,500. If that fails, we're looking for essentially 21,400. We'll have to see if we bounce off that. But look for a small dip. We did talk about that yesterday as well before it attempts to rebound. Apple's looking very bullish. There might be a test of previous resistance becoming support at 254 flat, so it might tip a little bit more. We could be bouncing off near 254. If that bounces, we could be looking for a push and a continuation higher. So give it the time it needs. For the Russell, we are dipping here. We need to try to hold 220. If it bounces off that, we could be looking for a test of 225, but look for a small dip to start things off. Coin is barely at support now at 273. We got to hold this. There's a possible inverse head and shoulder setup, but if we lose that, there's going to be a risk of us dipping all the way back down towards the support right here, all the way down to like 265. So be careful. We need to try to get back above 273. We could dip a bit and try to bounce, but we'll see about that. Amazon's going to be testing 224. I would like to see it hold its 50 EMA. If we hold this, we could rebound for 228. Meta is trying to hold 586. If this holds, we could attempt to rebound for 595. It's on a bit of a downtrend, though, so just be a little bit careful with Meta. If we can't hold 586, there's going to be this imbalance to fall all the way down to 575. Microsoft's looking weaker. It might be coming back down to about, the 432 to 435 area before it tries to bounce. So it's still range bound. And Google might be retesting 192. If that fails us, we're looking for 190, then 189. We'll have to see if we bounce off that as well. So it might be a small dip coming to the markets. I think Google might dip a bit. Others may see a small pullback, but we'll be watching to see if we can make a higher low compared to this low right here. And if the market does that, there could be a nice bounce coming, especially as we approach the end of the year. So I'll be watching to see that. So look for a small dip on Tesla, and then we'll see what happens after that. Thank you for listening, and peace out.